Hello, guys. How are you? Let's continue talking about innovation. Our guest is the Director of Communication and Sustainability of Toyota Latin America and also CEO of the Toyota Brazil Foundation. Welcome, Viviane Mansi. It's a pleasure to have you
Tudo em
here in
ordem, eu
this
que agradeço.
festival.
A gente acompanha o
Thank you
trabalho da
for the
Klabin de perto,
opportunity.
então é um
We've been
prazer para
following
nós fazer
Klabin's
parte dessa
work
conversa.
closely, and it's a pleasure to be here. It's our pleasure, Vivi. We know that Toyota has several sustainable initiatives worldwide and in Brazil. Every 5 years, you launch an environmental action plan. It's already the seventh edition with clear goals and solid outcomes. Tell us a bit about this methodology. Why is it important for you to have these goals so accurately and
Bacana,
the
obrigada pela
outcomes as
pergunta,
well?
Rosana.
Thank you,
Esse é
Rosana,
pouco do
for the
estilo de
question.
trabalho da
This
Toyota.
is
A
the
Toyota é uma
Toyota
empresa que ela
work
tem por
style.
volta de
Toyota
85
is a
anos,
company that
e
is
essa
almost
questão do
85
olhar
years
para a
of
comunidade, olhar
age,
o serviço,
and
o
looking at the
lugar onde ela
community,
opera, é uma coisa
looking
que
where we
faz parte do
operate,
nosso jeito de
is
ser
part of the
desde
way
o
we
início,
are
o que é
from the
bastante comum
beginning,
para empresas
which is
japonesas,
quite
né?
common for
Empresas japonesas em
Japanese
geral,
companies.
como
Japanese
a cultura de
companies
país,
overall, because
tem
of the
essa
country's
preocupação
culture,
com tudo
has
que está
this
relacionado ao seu
concern
negócio.
with everything that
Então,
is connected to
sustentabilidade
its
nunca foi uma
business.
coisa
So
muito distante,
sustainability
mas,
has
dadas as
always been
demandas
close
sociais,
to
dadas
us.
as
But
demandas da
because of the
sociedade
social
como um todo.
demands and the
De um
demands
tempo
of
para
the
cá, a gente
society,
começou a
lately
organizar e
we
a
have started
dialogar melhor com o mercado a
organizing
respeito
and
dessas questões. Então, eu
dialoguing
posso
with
dizer para
the
você que a gente
market better
opera em
about
três grandes
this.
grupos.
So we have three major
Aquele tipo de ação
groups:
que a gente faz
the
dentro de
type of
casa,
action
na
that we
nossa
do
própria
in
operação,
our
aquele tipo de ação que a gente faz na
foundation,
nossa cadeia de
the
valor,
type of
porque não
action that
adianta eu
we do
fazer
in
só
our
dentro de
value
casa,
chain,
porque eu compro muitas
because it's
peças
no
de
use
fora,
doing
esses
things
concessionários,
just
por
in the
exemplo, eles não
company.
são
I
da
buy
Toyota, eles são
parts that are from
parceiros,
other
então a gente
places, the
precisa ter um
dealers are
diálogo que inclua
partners,
a
so
todos.
we need to
E,
include
finalmente,
everybody.
a gente tem
And
também uma série de
finally,
coisas que são
we have
feitas por
several
conta de
actions that are
vocação
done
social, o compromisso que a
due to
empresa tem de
social
fazer para a
vocation, due to
sociedade,
our commitment to
independentemente de
do
tudo aquilo que ela faz
things for
dentro de casa.
society,
E aí,
regardless of
esses
the things we
desafios
do for
ambientais,
ourselves.
eles
And
colocam
the environmental
números, compromissos e
challenges,
prazos
they
para tudo isso.
pose
Nós
numbers,
acabamos de fechar
commitments, and deadlines for
o
all of
sexto
that.
plano,
We
significa que a
just
gente tem
closed
ali
the
dentro pelo
sixth
menos
plan.
30 grandes
We have
ações de
30
como é que a gente
major
evolui na
actions on
economia de
how to
água, de
evolve
energia, uso
in
adequado de
saving water,
resíduos, como é que a
energy,
gente
proper
melhora a nossa
waste
relação com o meio e
management, how
envolve a
to
nossa cadeia.
improve our
E como
relationship
é que a
with the
gente gerencia
environment
isso? Eu acho que a
and
parte
with
mais
our chain,
interessante
and
também de
how to
provocar
manage that. I
transformação.
think that's the most
Isso
important
é,
thing
a
for
gente
us to
levanta
have
com cada área. A minha
transformation.
área, no
So
final das
with all
contas,
the
ela opera
departments,
como uma grande
we
governança
talk, my
dessas
area is kind
questões
of a
e a gente
governance of
levanta
all
os
of that.
compromissos com as
So we
áreas, a
get the
gente acorda
commitments
com
from
os
the different
parceiros externos
departments,
e tem
we
um grande
agree with the
processo de
external
governança no dia a dia
partners,
para
and there is a
garantir
governance
que nenhuma
process to
coisa
make
não
sure
cagada, né? Porque são coisas que não
that
são
we
simples.
all get
Nós não
there,
estamos falando
because
de
it's
coisas
not
pequenas.
simple. We're not talking
Então,
about
eu te dou
small
alguns exemplos.
things.
Por conta
I have
desses
some
planos,
examples.
a
Because
gente
of
hoje
these
já tem
plans,
100% da
today we
energia
have
que a gente usa
100%
nas
of the
4 plantas de óleo
electricity we
já é
use in the
energia
four
limpa e
plants in
certificada.
Brazil. They are
Ano
clean and
após ano, a
certified
gente aumenta a
energy.
produção, mas a
Every
gente
year we
diminui o
increase the
uso de água e de
production, but we
energia.
decrease the
A gente
use
tem
of
a maior
water
rede no
and
Brasil de
energy.
concessionários,
We
que
have the
tem
greatest amount of
ISO
dealers in Brazil
14001,
that
porque a
is
gente também ajuda nesse
ISO
processo
14 to
de formação e
01.
de
So
aplicação
we
desses
are going
conceitos dentro de
through the
casa. E a
process
gente
of
tem a Fundação Toyota do Brasil,
going
que
doing
não
all
é um
these
braço
things
social da
at
Toyota, hoje ela é
the
completamente
company. And
independente,
we have
é
the
uma
Brazil
fundação de
Foundation,
fato, de
Toyota.
propósito
It's a
com
real
Ministério
foundation,
Público,
it's
que vai
independent.
olhar outras
I
questões
am
de
I
cidades
render
sustentáveis e
account
de
to the public
educação mais
prosecutor's
fortemente, para
office,
a gente
and
contribuir
we
com
deal
esses
with
temas no país
sustainability
que
and
precisa
education for
dessa,
us
desse
to
olhar.
help the country that needs this. When we talk about the automotive industry that emits a lot of CO2 and is responsible for global warming, people think that just reducing emission is enough. But it's important to have a more robust platform where you also have the social and the
Com
governance
certeza, tanto que
side,
quando a gente
right?
fala
Yeah,
globalmente,
absolutely. When we
e
talk
eu sempre
about
gosto de pensar
globally, and
global
I
e dar
also
exemplos
like
locais, para a
to
gente ver que não é uma
think
coisa só do
global and
Japão.
give
E eu
local
acho que esse tem que ser o nosso
examples.
compromisso.
I think
Tudo nós
that
fazemos
must be our commitment. As we are part of global companies, it seems that if we do it abroad, that's enough. That's not the case. We need to do it locally as well. All the things that the company wants to do. In our mission, we say happiness to all, large scale happiness. So it's not only producing cars that we can get broad happiness, also because the portfolio of products in Toyota. In Brazil, I don't have entry cars, so we are the sixth or seventh largest company in Brazil, depending on the month. So how can I commit to happiness to all if I don't reach all people? We can reach in other ways, good contraction, good processes, thinking about Brazil. And I think that's the main thing about your question. When we think about our future portfolio, we are talking about electrification, that in the future we will have a leap in terms of production and emissions will go down. We have 10 vehicles that are electrified in Brazil. And in 2025, soon, all the lineup, all the portfolio of products will have at least one hybrid version. And then you can ask me, hybrid, what is hybrid? That's a question people have. The technology solution to decarbonize for Brazil, the solution we have here talks to the infrastructure challenges we have. So the cars from Toyota, they are not plugged in. We don't do that. When we think about electric, we think about that. But our cars self-generate energy when you speed up or when you hit the brakes. And that's important in Brazil because we have infrastructure problems. We are a huge country. It would be too expensive. And there are advantages in Brazil that we have ethanol. So a hybrid car that uses different engines, the combustion and the electric engines, and both work together. Some of them have three engines because there is the hybrid flex engine. So it's gasoline, ethanol, and electric. So the performance is very good in this sense. So when we think about this change in the industry, we don't think we are a car industry. We are a mobility company because there are solutions that are cleaner. I gave you the example of hybrid that is accessible here in Brazil, but there are many other technologies that are used worldwide. The second thing is how to bring more technology here so we can develop more things and make other products accessible to people. So all of that gives value so we have future decarbonization. Toyota has a very specific thinking for that. We don't suggest direct electrification because of the infrastructure challenges we have, but that doesn't mean we don't have to take strides. We do, and we have solutions that are right now. It's very interesting because you gave me the opportunity to ask the next question that has to do with electrification, which is one of the ways to decarbonize. Here in Brazil, we have several renewable sources, ethanol that is growing, especially with the international encouragement we see in the world. Toyota should not just think about developing electric cars. It's much better to have an equation that takes into account our scenario individually. Yes, that's the global strategy of Toyota. We have researched different kinds of technology and different moments of mobility. In Brazil, this is real for the hybrid because we believe the potential of the industry of ethanol and the technology is ready, the infrastructure is ready, so we can do that fast. And this is part of the equation. And also, we have brought here new mobility services like Quinto. It's KINTO. This is a company that is a car sharing company. So you don't need to buy a car and have a car in your parking lot. You can use that service and use a car for an hour a day or a week or month. And Quinto also offers fleet management. And there's a market edge because usually the companies that offer that, it's large fleets. Quinto can do that with 2 or 3 cars. So it's also for business owners. And in addition to this service, we have an approach of the Toyota production system. So it can save 70% of management costs that companies have. And people say, okay, so it's a service to sell less. No, it is to be efficient. Efficient. That's our main commitment. That has to do with innovation, right, Vivi? We see in the value chain innovation in this aspect when you look for solutions, right? Yes, and Toyota has a way of thinking of innovation that is very Toyota. This is a company that started 103 years ago as an automatic steam loom company. This was before it became an automotive. So it found a way to reduce the back pain and ergonomic problems in people that work with the looming. So it was a revolution in terms of ergonomic and the quality of the fabric, because with this system, it was quick for you to restore or repair if there was a problem. You didn't need to lose the entire fabric. So it improved the quality of the fabric because of the system. And then it sold the patent and created an automotive industry in Japan, thinking about the next stage of development. So it was a robust change and it showed innovation. When it created an automotive industry, thinking about quality, improving the life of people and happiness to all, this was already there. And then we differentiated ourselves in the way we innovate because we innovate incrementally. So Toyota was the company that created something that Brazilians like a lot, the SUVs, right? These cars that Brazilians love, and also lean production. It has created a portfolio of innovations for decarbonization. So, in a very constant fashion, we are bringing innovation, thinking from what we do. So, we are not a company that does huge changes overnight. That's not our style. Our style is continuous learning, shared learning. Worldwide, we have established process. We're thinking about innovation. And process is not bureaucracy. When there is bureaucracy, you don't add value. So we solve bureaucracy problems, but processes that enable us to learn, to recognize mistakes, and don't repeat the mistakes. We have that a lot. In our sixth action plan, we show how we use results to make decisions. We use that to learn about the technology for new cars, and all the projects are measured, all of them, and they are monitored. It's no use having the initial data. We discuss about things, we involve people, we learn, we do a PDCA cycle. And once we find out things that are good learnings, we have a system in our internal process that we share worldwide, and all the plants start using the same thing. So they are large scale learnings. The way we implement innovation is sustained regardless of the people, because people may change position, may change company, so the learnings remain. Once again, you helped me in my next question. When we think about Japanese culture, we think about tradition and modernity. So talk about the future and the woven city in Japan. It's a live lab, right? Different initiatives, and it's something that, and they are using green
Pois é, Bel, você já viu
hydrogen.
que eu dei
Well,
um
you
sorriso
saw
bem aberto,
that
né? Isso mostra um
I
pouco do
smiled
entusiasmo
when
que
I
a gente
talked
tem
about
com
that.
essa
We're
cidade.
very
Olha
happy
só,
about
desde
this city.
2020, pouquinho
In
antes
beginning of
do começo da
2020,
pandemia, nós
before the
estávamos na
beginning of the
CIS, que é a
pandemic,
maior
we
feira de
were at
tecnologia que acontece nos
CIS,
Estados
which is the
Unidos,
biggest technology
e nós
trade
anunciamos com
show
o
in the
nosso CEO
US,
global
and
aqui, Toyota, nós
we
anunciamos
announced with
a
our global
criação da
CEO
Woven
the
City 2,
creation
né, que
of the
estamos em cima da
woven
cidade
city.
entrelaçada. Por que entrelaçada?
So it's
Uma
so
das
the
coisas que
woven
às vezes
city.
o mercado nos
One of the
questiona é, mas
things
se
that the
tudo isso vai ser possível, foi tudo
market
junto e
asks,
misturado?
is that
Quer dizer, a
going
gente está
to
falando
be
de muita
possible to have
tecnologia. A
everything
Toyota
mixed
acabou de
in
abrir faz 3
together?
anos 24.000
Toyota
patentes sem royalties
started
para incentivar outras empresas
24,000
a
patents with
produzirem
no
mais tecnologia que possa
royalties
ser
to
aplicada, né, em
encourage
inteligências
companies to
inteligentes.
produce
Mas e
technology to
aí, será que
use in
tudo isso
smart cities.
é
But is
factível?
that
Né? Dá para pôr em pé?
feasible?
E a gente falou, dá para pôr em pé e a gente
And
vai
we said,
demonstrar
yes,
por meio
that's
dessa
feasible,
cidade.
and we will
Então, nesse
show
caso,
it
uma
in
cidade
this
que ela será
city.
construída a
This
partir
is
de
a city
uma
that will be
fábrica
built
desativada ao
from
fogo
a
em Monte Fuji, então aquela
deactivated
área já é da Toyota.
factory in
Ela
Mount
inicialmente é
Fuji.
para duas
It
mil
was an
pessoas.
area
A
from
gente
Toyota.
imagina que
It's
entre essas
initially for
2.000 pessoas, a
2,000
gente tem
people.
alguns grupos
We
ali
will
muito
have
específicos, como grupos
some
de
specific
pesquisadores,
groups, among
né,
them
de universidades que
researchers
pesquisam várias
from
interações entre humano,
universities
tecnologia, o viver bem, a cidade
that
sustentável. A gente
research
imagina
sustainable
famílias,
cities,
porque elas vão se
interactions between
beneficiar muito de novas
people and
tecnologias,
robots,
e pessoas com
families
mais
because they
idade,
will
porque elas também
benefit
vão
from
se
the
beneficiar
technology, and the
deste novo
elderly
mundo.
because they
E é
will
uma
benefit from
cidade,
this
você vai falar,
new
bom, mas o que isso tem
world.
a ver com
And
carro,
this
né?
is a city, and say,
É uma
well,
cidade
how
que
is
a
that
gente
connected
deve
to
utilizar
cars?
a questão do
In this
deslocamento e da
city, we will
mobilidade
use
de muitas
mobility
formas
and
diferentes. Então, a
moving
gente vai ter
around in different
desde
ways.
ambientes de
We will
circulação
have
pedonal, ou seja, só
uh,
pedestres andam, e
places where
veículos de muito
only
baixa velocidade, como carros
pedestrians,
caminhonetes,
only people on
uma
foot will
via um pouco mais
run,
veloz, mas ainda uma via
and there
local,
will
e
be
uma via
one that is
expressa.
for
Além disso,
scooters,
a
and
gente
then
vai ter
one
cidade
with a
subterrânea
small
para
speed limit
serviços.
and a
Então, o
express
ambiente em si vai ser um ambiente mais limpo,
road.
porque tudo que é
So it's
serviço
all
não
the
vai competir com
services
o
will
olhar
be
humano, né? Ele vai
underground.
estar no
So
subsolo para
they will not
entregas
be
e, enfim,
competing
para,
with
enfim, para
humans,
que a cidade
with the
aconteça, né? Com
human
muitas
look.
pessoas
So the
aqui neste
deliveries
país.
and
E a
everything will
Toyota tem
be
uma pesquisa que é
underground.
popularmente
And
conhecida
we
como carro
also
voador.
research
Você sabe
what
que não
we
é bem isso, né, gente?
we call the
Mas
flying
enfim,
cars, but you
a
know
gente
that
usa o
they are not
espaço
flying
aéreo
cars,
de
but we
uma
use
forma
the
também para facilitar
airspace
deslocamentos
to
quando
make it
necessários.
easier for
A
people
pedra
to
fundamental
move
dessa cidade já
around.
aconteceu agora dia
The
23
stone, the
de
fundamental
fevereiro de
stone was
2021,
put
que é o dia
on
do Monte
February
Fuji. E vocês sabem que o
23rd,
Japão é muito ritual
2021.
nesse
Japan
sentido.
has lots of
Então,
rituals,
a
so it's the
gente
day of
colocou
the
a pedra
Mount Fuji.
fundamental, colocou lá a
So
pá pela
we
primeira
set the
vez, e daí
stone for
isso
the
vai ser para
first
nós um
time to
sonho se tornar
start
realidade.
the
E
city,
demonstrar
and
que
it
tudo
will
isso
become
pode
a
de verdade
reality.
melhorar a
We
vida
want
das
to
pessoas.
demonstrate that
É
this
isso que eu
can
queria te
really help
perguntar, porque
people.
no primeiro
That
momento
was my
você
next
pensa, é uma
question
jogada de
because we think,
marketing,
okay,
fazer
that's
uma
a
cidade do
marketing
futuro, em que as
thing,
pessoas
you
vão
know,
chegar ali
the future
deslumbradas
city,
com
everybody
tantas
will be there
inovações e tal,
dazzled with
mas o
all the
objetivo seria
innovations,
observar o
but
que pode dar
the
certo ali
goal
e
is to
replicar de fato
observe
na vida
what
real,
can
na
work to
Isso,
prática
replicate in
cotidiana.
real
laboratório vivo, né?
life. Yes,
Essa
it's
é
a
a ideia,
live
laboratório vivo. E a
lab.
gente também está levando para lá
And
alguns
also, we are
aprendizados.
bringing there
Por
some
exemplo, a Toyota sempre foi
learnings.
uma empresa lá no, sempre foi,
Toyota,
né? Mas lá no passado,
in
eu
the
já tenho falado
past,
bem,
we
foi uma
have
empresa muito
changed.
fechada, né? A
It
gente
was a very
desenvolvia suas próprias
closed
tecnologias.
company.
E
We
cada vez
developed our
mais a
own
gente tem se aberto
technologies,
para fazer
but
muita
now
colaboração.
we are opening up
Então,
for
a gente tem empresas de
collaboration.
tecnologia
So
conosco, na
there are
verdade.
tech
Quem
companies
quiser
with
entrar no
us.
site
If you want to
wovencity.com, vai
go to
entrar
the
lá e vai
website
ver, nossa, mas tem mil
wovencity.com,
oportunidades. Bom, eu tenho um
you will see
serviço que
lots of
talvez sirva mais, pode ir
opportunities.
lá,
Maybe
pedir uma
if your
reunião, pedir
service
para reconhecer uma certa
will add to it, you
tecnologia
can
e
ask for a
entender como ela vai
meeting
funcionar.
and you can
Mas a
understand how your
cidade, ela está
technology
colocada
might
numa
work.
forma que ela tem
So the
facilidade para
city is
crescer.
placed in a way
Então,
that
esse é o
can
início.
grow. That's the
Como é que ela vai se
beginning.
desenvolver vai
How it will
depender da dimensão
develop
que ela vai
will
conseguindo, de
depend
fato,
on how
infraestrução,
much
né?
it
De
can
facilitar a vida das
fulfill its
pessoas, esse
mission
tipo de
of making
aprendizado.
people's
Como é que
lives
a gente pode dar
easier,
aí? E aí eu
of
te dou
how to go beyond.
um
And
exemplo que foi de coisas
I'm
que
going
as
to
pessoas
give you an
conhecem menos da
example.
Toyota.
People
A
don't
gente
know a
pesquisa
lot
muito
about
robôs.
Toyota in this way. We
Por que robô, né? Quer dizer, não é só o
search
robô da
robots a lot. We
autonomia do
research.
veículo.
It's not
A
only
gente
because
hoje
of the
tem uma linha de
autonomy
pesquisa
of
de robôs, que são
cars.
robôs
We have a
domésticos,
line
porque
of
a população
domestic
tem
robots because people are living longer. So, a generation that will live 100, 120 years will require some care and help. So, these are technologies that not do not replace human abilities, but in help it. So it reminds the elderly when it's time for them to take their drugs. It shows memories and photos of nice times that they have lived. So it helps the elderly people live their lives. Vivi, I love talking to you. Unfortunately, we don't have more time to have more initiatives to our audience. Thank you and hope to see you soon. Thank you. I like to thank you for the conversation. I'm going to show you a brief video of Woven City and I hope to meet you there. See you soon. So long. Bye bye. I bet you have got really impressed with the way Toyota is innovating over the years, and the Innova Clubbing at Home Festival continues to inspire great and transformative ideas. Stay tuned, I'll be back soon.